We're operating in 6 European countries, all of which were selected on the basis of the different epidemiology and distribution of the disease affecting vulnerable populations.
The days of sitting in a hospital and waiting for TB to come to you are gone, and we've been very fortunate to be able to be part of this research initiative, and very fortunate to have such fantastic partners to work with across Europe and particularly in Romania, where we're going to try and replicate the kind of findings that we've had in London as far as trying to shorten delays to diagnosis for people who are out there, people who really do have problems trying to get access to TB diagnostics, and for many, for people whose lifestyle unfortunately masks the clinical presentation of TB.
This is part of the project eDetect TB, early detect TB, and within one day a diagnosis of TB can be made by taking an X-ray, reading it by the computer, and have the gene expert to examine the sputum. So this is the small thing which will have the hardware, software for the reading of the chest X-rays, and it will produce a heat map, and if the score is above a certain threshold, then the X-ray is abnormal, and then there's need for further examination.
Dintr-un interviu care durează foarte puțin, interviul plus radiografia, în aproximativ 10-15 minute poți să obții suspiciunea sau infirmarea de tuberculoză.
România este pe primul loc la numărul bolnavilor cu tuberculoză din Europa. Și suntem și pe un loc fruntaș în lume. Este un uriaș pas înainte, pentru că depistarea tuberculozei active este un prim pas major spre reducerea numărului de îmbolnăviri și începutul penitenciar este de bun augur, pentru că acolo s-au întâlnit cazurile cele mai frecvente.
In Italy, we are focusing our intervention on screening migrants.
Work package 5, which is identifying appropriate, effective and cost-effective interventions for screening of immigrants, both tuberculosis disease and latent tuberculosis infection, will take place first of all in the place of landing of immigrants, which is the south of Italy, and then we'll move to the regions in Lombardy mainly, where we will deal with resettled immigrants.
One major challenge, I say, is the data collection and sharing, because from data collection and sharing you get information that will be available for evaluation of the screening strategies, but also educational purposes.
I'm involved mainly in one of the work packages of eDetect that aims to establish a multi-country database on migrant TB screening. And we are starting with 4 countries within eDetect, that's Italy, the Netherlands, UK and Sweden. And with this database we aim to analyze the yield of screening, the uptake of treatment, the effectiveness of migrant TB screening in order to inform policy development for TB screening in migrants in mainly low incidence countries in Europe, but hopefully also it will have some impact on the knowledge base globally for this area.
This curated database would also contribute to lessons for the European Centre for Disease Control and Prevention in formulating future screening and treatment policy.
Work Package 7, which looks at TB strategies across Europe, particularly at the challenges that member states might be facing in implementing strategies, barriers that need to be overcome, but also enablers that could help to implement a strategy, and looking at the entire process.
Our intention is to develop specific measures and interventions and to learn how to detect these forms of disease early so that we can prevent people from developing adverse outcomes and hopefully from needlessly dying from a curable infection.